video is brought to you by Against the Flow of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is a book about Jake Fayard, a Marine veteran who is unhappy with the political machine running the state of Mississippi. He decides to fight the corruption from the inside. Jake will face more challenges than he ever has and will stand up for what he thinks is right. His notoriously hot temper will push him to the edge of murder, along with his friend and brother Kobe Barhanovich. Together, they will fight the system and give the power back to the citizens of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi was written by Anthony Oksenholt and was published by Oksenholt Biloxi Publishing, LLC. A link to the book will be placed in the description below. Alright, last video and I swear I'm going to bed. I gotta get up in the morning. Whew. Yeah, I have had multiple people say the same fucking thing to me. Anthony, you do the shit that you do, and you get away with it because you're white. Now, I'm not a white apologist by any means. I'm not. Not one of these liberal snowflakes that, yeah, I'm not one of those. I have balls. I know which bathroom to fucking use. However, I will concede that these people, a lot of them, probably have a very valid point. I'm going to qualify my remarks. I have seen with my own two eyes the difference in law enforcement experiences, and I'm not saying all cops are racist. This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying some of y'all are, and I'll admit that. Some of y'all, yeah. You let your bias influence your job. And let me tell you something. Every department that I've ever seen, every one of them has a uniform requirement. Usually, trim facial hair, your fingernails trim, no earrings, your hair's got to be a certain length. Obviously, my hair would be out of uniform. Shirt's got to be pressed. Your pins have to be right. Your pants need to be pressed. Probably military in a lot of places, military press. Belt's got to be a black belt that's shining. Your utility belt's got to be set up a certain way. Your boots have got to be shined. You know, these are uniform requirements. There's another uniform requirement. You check your bias at the door. You secretly have a problem with black people. You don't like Mexicans because you think all Mexicans are illegal, or most Mexicans are illegal. You don't like Asians because your dad fought in Vietnam. Your grandpa fought in Korea or World War II, so you don't like Asians. You're out of uniform. I'm not saying don't be human, but I'm going to say you out of uniform. If I had a racist officer work under me, I'd check that shit in a heartbeat. that quick. I would check that shit. We ain't having it. I'm not gonna have it. I will bust your ass and do what I can to get you gone, because you don't deserve to be there. But that's me. That was me as a supervisor. That was me as a sergeant. You don't like females. You don't like males. You don't like this. I don't give a shit what you personally, in your personal life, don't like. We all have biases. Even me. I definitely have some. We all have biases. But if you don't check that shit and go file it somewhere until you get off work, you got a problem. Now, when you have a black person that you pull over in a bad area of town, and you assume that just because they're black they're up to no good, you're already pissing away the trust, what little trust. And let's face it, most minorities have very little trust in the police. I'm not a minority. I don't have that much faith in the police simply because I don't have that much faith in anybody that works for the government. I know, I used to work for the government. I know how most the government is. It's ridiculous. But if you don't check that shit, and you don't check your feelings and your emotions, you don't put your bias somewhere else to where it don't affect your job, you're wrong. You pull over a black person in a bad neighborhood, a drug neighborhood, because, all black areas are drug areas, right? Right? I mean, that's what you were trained to think by your training officer when you were coming out of the academy. Some of you were. You get that cop that's been on the force since cars were black and white and so were TVs and the issues. The days gone by of the Rodney King era. Yeah, there's still some of those around. Not saying all old cops are bad. Some of them have their biases and they forget that they shouldn't bring it to work. And they obviously shouldn't train rookies with it. You pull over somebody in a bad neighborhood and you think, this guy's black, he's under 25, and he's probably got drugs on him. Let me tell y'all something. I worked in a prison. There was a lot of white guys in there that commit crimes too. And the prison that I worked at, it's a prison, hint, hint, every one of them was a convicted felon. White guys commit felonies too. That white guy coming through the suburbs in that brand new Cadillac CTS or CT5 or whatever it is now. I don't care about new cars. I drive a 35-year-old truck. Not this, but my personal vehicle is a 35-year-old F-150. There's a chance he's a criminal too. I don't care. He could be fucking 60 years old, coming out of the car, wearing our money, and have the governor's phone number in his phone. Or he could be some 18-year-old young black kid that gets out with an attitude because he's watched too much MTV and BET and, listened to too much of this new music that I don't listen to. So he thinks he's got to come out the car with an attitude and, man, why the fuck you pull me over, blah, 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 blah. There's an equal chance that guy is just, though he may be an asshole, not a criminal, and the white guy in the business suit that you pulled over in the brand new Cadillac just so happens that he might be running coke for the cartel. But which one is more likely to get slammed on the ground and tased? Let's be honest here. My friend that I've been fighting for, still fighting for, will continue to fight for, just so happened to be living in a house that she owns in a black neighborhood, a drug area, according to the Gulfport police and their incident reports. Okay, so she was a young black female with dreads. She's got a fucking master's degree. Do you think she can get away with speaking to a cop the way I can? The answer is absolutely not. No way, no how. Do you think she can look at a cop and tell a cop to kiss her ass without kissing the pavement? Probably not. Do you think a cop is going to pull me out of the car and make me kiss the pavement when I tell him to kiss my ass? I give it a 70-30 against. We got pulled over pretty close to the same area. She got her face slammed on the ground, got her ass beat and tased for refusing an officer's right to search. I got a ticket. Didn't get my ass whipped. Not that I would let that officer whip my ass, I can guarantee you that one. Sorry, I'm too old to take an ass whipping. Do with that information what you will. But yeah. I got a ticket. She got an ass whipping. Big fucking difference. So yeah, white privilege, I would say it is kind of real. I saw it with my own eyes. Newsflash, I've never actually been 100% against the premise of what Black Lives Matter stands for. I don't agree with the vandalism. I don't agree with the rioting. I don't agree with blocking traffic. I drive a semi. You try to block traffic in front of me just standing out there, I'm probably going to make you into a fucking speed bump. If we're being honest. Didn't your mama teach you not to play in the street? That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to have no sympathy for you. I'm just going to speed bump your ass. But I understand why they're pissed off. And they have a right to be. Because they will get treated differently than I will, and I recognize that. You got to be stupid not to. This is not an officer-civilian problem. This is a society problem. And it's something we all need to fix, myself included. Get to know those in your community. to y'all who are minorities, maybe get to know your police. Don't kiss their ass by any means, but build rapport with them. If you see an officer constantly patrolling your neighborhood, stop and have a conversation. If he's an asshole, be careful, because you might get that asshole. Then you become an asshole, but not to the point to where you get yourself hurt or arrested. There's some out there that actually want to do some good. Not all cops are on a power trip. Just like not every black person that a cop pulls over is a criminal. Not everybody who has a badge deserves one either. And the sooner we can weed those out, the safer the streets will be. Here's the real problem though. It's not cool to be the police anymore. Nobody wants to be the police. Everybody wants to sit there and, because of recent events, it's getting hard to recruit and retain officers. Some of y'all that are of minority races, why don't y'all join the police department? It's not that hard. I'm not going to do it because I'm too old and I don't feel like working the street. I'm more comfortable in a prison. But that's how you get change. Here's the other way you get change. Vote in local elections. Attend your city council meetings. Speak at your city council meetings. And if they don't let you speak, you make yourself heard. We have the First Amendment right to petition our government for a redress of our grievances. And if they refuse, sue the absolute shit out of them. I have more, but I gotta go to bed. I gotta get up and work in the morning. Y'all have a good night. Anthony Oksenholt, Access 228.